you count the Jets out at 2-4 right now, third in the AFCs, but at the end of the day, they're a game out of the wild card spot in the AFC. You got to like it. Overall, Aaron Rodgers played pretty good last night. It wasn't, I would not say the Jets lost because of Aaron Rodgers. The Jets lost because our kicker, Greg, the leg sucked. The Jets lost because Mike Williams slipped. The Jets lost because Breece Hall couldn't hold on to the football. The Jets lost because Tyron Smith, a crucial penalty call that took back a touchdown. Joe Tippmann, I mean, he had a crucial holding call. Penalties, like so many little things that the Jets had problems with Robert Saleh. And the Jets continue to have problems with it without Robert Saleh. I know we're only a week removed, but the Jets consistently find ways to lose football games. They can never find a way to win. The past 3 weeks, Aaron Rodgers and the Jets offense has had the opportunity to get a to go out there and put together a game-winning drive. And they failed 3 times in a row. Very unlike Aaron Rodgers. But like I said before, that game was not on Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Before that, the previous 2 weeks, that was on Aaron Rodgers. This week, it was not. The run game was going. He was connecting in the passing game with Garrett Wilson. Allen Lazard looked great. Breece Hall looked great. The offense looked much better under Todd Downing than it did with Nathaniel Hackett calling those plays for the Jets. And then the defense, I mean, they just can't stop the run. They can't stop the run outside of Sauce Gardner and really Quincy Williams. Everybody on the Jets defense has sucked. Sauce and Quincy Williams are carrying the Jets defense right now. But we're going to talk about that later. Let's stick with the offense. Rodgers went 23 of 35. Crucial. I mean, not really a crucial interception. It was a crucial interception. Mike Williams catches that ball. He doesn't slip. I mean, it's a completely different story today. But 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 23 of 35 yesterday. Breece Hall, 18 carries, 113 yards, no touchdowns. Could have had a touchdown, but didn't do it. Allen Lazard and Garrett Wilson both eclipsed 100 receiving yards. Allen Lazard, 6 catches, 114 yards with a touchdown. Garrett Wilson, 8 catches, 107 yards with a touchdown. Mike Williams is probably going to have to kick rocks and get out of here. And I hate to see him go because I do like him as a receiver. And I hate how Aaron Rodgers did throw him under the bus yesterday, but it is what it is. We have to accept it. I'm a Jets fan. I just got to accept it. Davante Adams joining Allen Lazard and Garrett Wilson, who both just eclipsed 100 yards yesterday with Rodgers. This receiving room is dominant. So anybody who wants to say, oh, the Jets' problems won't be fixed with Davante Adams, I think you're stupid. Because here's my case on why. If we had Davante Adams the past 3 weeks, the Jets aren't 2-4. The Jets are, I'm doing my math right, 5-1. Jets would be 5-1. I mean, if you think about it, we're a few plays away. We could have won every single game these past 3 weeks. Every single game. You have a Davante Adams to make a big catch. Set you up in a good spot. There it is. And I know we have playmakers. But you know what? The Jets, they're in a hole right now. They're in a hole. They had to dig deeper. And they had to get more help. I like the decision to put Todd Downing as the offensive play caller. It looked good last night. And now with Davante Adams joining that receiving room of Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard. Allen Lazard has been having a phenomenal year. He's got 5 receiving touchdowns through the first 6 games this year. And Garrett Wilson, back-to-back 100-yard games. We all know what he can do. I mean, he clips over 1,000 yards in back-to-back seasons with Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Mike White. But shout out to Joe Flacco. He's actually missed that guy. But you got to be pumped. The Jets have a real opportunity to turn the season around, and I think maybe even be 7-4 over their next 5 games. And that's a tough task. 5 games in a row to win, but they can beat the Steelers. It's going to be tough. That offensive line is definitely going to need to show up big primetime Sunday night against the Steelers. My boys Sean and Josh, I know you're going to be chewing me for that game. At Pittsburgh, Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt, they're going to want to kill Aaron Rodgers, and Rodgers has been getting beat up. But I'd say that's a toss-up, only because of the defense. Patriots, we know we can beat. Texans, we can beat. Cardinals. Texas is still going to be tough. They're 5-1 this year, but that's a toss-up, I'd say. But Cardinals, we can beat. Colts, we can beat. Seahawks, we can beat. Dolphins, we can beat. Jaguars, we can beat. Rams, we can beat. Bills, I don't know. We didn't beat them yesterday. And the Dolphins, we can beat. So if I'm looking at the Jets schedule, I'll predict them to win week 7 against the Steelers. I'll say it right now. That'll make us 3 wins. Patriots will give us 4. We'll be back at 500, 4-4. I think we're going to lose to the Texans. We'll push it at 4-5. Cardinals back to 500, 5-5. Cardinals, they've been up and down this year. They're also 2-4. Kyler Murray, 8 touchdowns, 2 interceptions this year. He's actually having a pretty good year. Cardinals overall are not. So that would put us at 5-5. Colts, we can definitely beat them. Joe Flacco, though, he could come to haunt us. He's been having a great year with he just doesn't have anything to lose. He's playing great, probably his best football, I'd say, of his career. 71 of 108 so far in the year, 716 passing yards, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Flacco's nuts. But we could beat them still, 6-5. I think the Jets jump to after week 11. Then we get a bye week, well-rested that the Rodgers will definitely need. Week 13, we can definitely beat the Seahawks. That'll put us at 7-5. Dolphins, we can beat them, especially if Tua is still out, 8-5. Jaguars 9-5, Rams 10-5, Bills 10-6, Dolphins 11-6. So the Jets, now that they have Davante Adams, I'm much more confident that they can finish the season with 11 wins. They can afford to lose 2 more games this year. And that maybe would put them in a spot to win the division. Who knows? But I do like it. I do like the trade. Especially with Davante Adams, Garrett Wilson, and Allen Lazard. Davante Adams, when he had Aaron Rodgers, he was the best wide receiver in football, no doubt about it. I'm still in shock. Like, the Mets are still, and same with the Yankees, like this baseball, like the playoffs are definitely kind of drawing my attention away sometimes from how big like the Jets could be and how bad they are. Like, I'm kind of cutting them some slack. But once this season ends for the Mets and Yankees, I'm going to be pissed unless they turn it around. But Davante Adams, man, he's a stud. He's an absolute stud. You look at his numbers, his last year in Green Bay, he had 1,553 receiving yards, 11 touchdowns. His second to last season in Green Bay, 18 receiving touchdowns, 1,374 receiving yards. And just 2 years ago, he eclipsed 1,500 yards and led the league in receiving touchdowns with 14 of them. With terrible quarterbacks in 2023, he still managed to put together over 1,100 yards, 1,144 to be exact, with 8 receiving touchdowns. So Davante, at 32 years old, if he's got a little bit of gas left in that superstar tank, I think the Jets are really going to do damage. And this is going to help Garrett Wilson and Allen Lazard out so much. So much. It's definitely got to help with the ability to get rid of the ball quicker, too, because now you got Allen Lazard, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Davante Adams. Like, those are your skilled position players. One of them is going to be open quick. So who cares about the offensive line? Block for at least 3 seconds. I mean, sometimes it's quicker than that. A lot of times quicker than that. Just get in front of somebody. Give Rodgers a half a second to just get the ball into somebody's hand, please. Because he'll be able to do it with these 3. For sure.